I strike the bell, O Prince of Hell. I thank you for appearing. I've paid the price.
All right, guys. I've got a request for... What do we got? John Macaluso and 911. Darren's interview with John Macaluso and 911, and my drunken commenting in between. So, yeah, it's quite the interesting show. This is Barry. So we're going to wait till, I think, probably 3 a.m., and then I'll start that. I don't know if you guys want to hear this whole Res Squatching one or not, but everybody wants to hear the other one. How about I just put it on? I'll just start it right now. Fuck it. Here we go. This is John Macaluso. We'll get to Res Squatching team back again later time. It's always there.
This is the Monster Castle Paranormal Radio Show. We explore the paranormal phenomenon with researchers and skeptics from all walks of life and beyond. Fridays and Saturdays, 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. Visit our website at monstercastleparanormal.com.
2894547.
Yeah. And remember, your 447's at the end.
Yeah, there was a guy trying to call in.
Oh, wow.
I missed this guy.
Welcome to the Monster Castle Radio Show. For the extreme paranormal listener. And here is your host, the Wolfman, Mike.
Oh yeah, this is where the real freaks hang out, alright, yeah. Let's get some rock and roll, baby, yeah. Right on. Here we are. Oh, man. Rocking with the Wolfman. We have a very, very special guest.
All of a sudden, I'm popular again. It's so freaky, man. I was actually depressed doing all this work. I thought I did all this for fucking nothing. Nobody was ever gonna listen to me again. I was.
Brothers and my sisters, every mist them sits over we heads. Not clear skies tonight, and in their efforts they keep our minds hid. Governments plot, governments launch, satellites overhead. Governments watch, keep us in check. Got to start acting, dolls dancing, dolls dancing, dolls dancing, dolls dancing, yeah. Darling, upright, children come home. Now, Mr. Money, now tell me no more.
right side up.
Well, then why are your eyes closed?
Gilligan, why don't you stop that? You don't know anything at all about space.
Shut your throat down, spit on the earth. Make it scared to rock the shot. This mouth despite his efforts. We know want to see about to linger. Let the non-believers keep him company in his kingdom of earth. Conquering lion, take your throne. Ruler of the king of kings and the lord of lords. Come teach us Yahushua. The little children need to stop acting. Dance dancing. Dance dancing.
In the right chat room, I wasn't watching it. That's what you should be doing. See, that's why I put the
Dance
I really
dancing,
want you to
yeah.
watch the chat room. Because I can't watch the chat room.
Darling of right, children come home.
It's real easy. So,
Now Mr. Boston, now tell
you
me
don't
no
have to say much. You
more.
just have to see what you're saying.
Quit sunny show. Quit sunny show.
Yeah. Well, you can tell me right over here. You say, hey, this person in the chat room is saying this or that.
Sell
Talk about it
your
right
soul.
here. That's what usually a coach does, actually. Keep watch on the chat room. Oh, you know what? I didn't have to tell him that. That's all fucking written in here. If we mess around here, it's all planned. Just go right here. You can do it all in. It says it right here. Live show call-in numbers right fucking there. And the Skypes and everything is right fucking there.
Na 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 na, yes. Na 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 na,
Website, YouTube, everything is wrong.
Sometimes you need a little spice in your life. Sometimes to ease the pressure off your mind. Sometimes when the lights get so high,
You mean they think this camera landed on Mars? Exactly. There is life on Mars because we're alive. Some of us are.
and the work is over and done,
Uh-oh.
and it's time to have some. Mama Nature, here I come.
Can we
Girl, come with your love, come give me some. Don't keep me waiting, don't you, son, no.
I don't know what happened to John Mack.
I wanna love you all night long, yeah.
I put it on and it didn't come on.
Sometimes you need a little spice in your life. Sometimes when the pressure reaches me. Sometimes when the tides get so high and you need to carry on. Said I'm crying for your love. Oh, yes. Earth angel in my life keeps me cutting like a knife. It always things don't seem so right. Mother Nature, you surely shine your light. Sometimes you need little love in your life. Sometimes to ease the pressure of your life. Sometimes when the tides get so high and you need to carry on. Sometimes you need a little spice in your life. Sometimes to ease the pressure of your mind. Sometimes when the tides get so high and you need to carry on. Sometimes you need a little love in your life.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Monster Castle Radio Show. For the extreme paranormal listener. And here is your host, the Wolfman, Mike.
Dig it, oh yeah. This is where the real freaks hang out, alright, yeah. Let's get some rock and roll, baby, yeah.
Here we are. Oh man, rocking with the wolf. We have a very, very special guest. Darren, would you like to introduce him, please?
Sure.
Like an intro?
Yeah, it's John. It's a police officer that worked in New York for almost 20 years, 17 years. And a good friend of mine. And he's here to talk about some of his experiences. You have any questions for him, Wolfman, to start out? Or do you want me to go to it?
You know, it's your friend, so...
All right. John doesn't live in New York now because he moved out to be in the Northwest with us. And I was going to have you talk about what New York was like when you were a kid.
Sure. No, I was born in New York City. I moved out to Long Island, which is like outside of New York City, which was the suburbs in the 1970s, which is really a great place to grow up. Very expensive to live there now, and it's very much of a rat race now. But back then, that was considered like the sticks. It was beautiful. Beautiful place to grow up, beaches on both coasts, and winters were a little brutal, but everything was great back then.
You got to play a lot of hockey too. Do you know the Canadian national anthem?
I don't know the French part, but I know the English part.
Wolfman, we were saying we were going to sing it for you.
Oh yeah, sing it, baby.
Hockey was a big deal growing up on the East Coast. I was shocked to see that on the West Coast, that it's not so much of a big deal being so close to BC. But hockey was a very, very, very big influence on me as a child. Just knowing that living on the East Coast, but you had a lot of teams and a lot of history coming from Canada. And with hockey was a big deal.
It's as big as like football is here, isn't it?
Football is big. College football is not so big in New York State, exception of maybe Syracuse. Maybe exception of Syracuse and Rutgers and a couple of teams here and there. It's mostly a southern thing, college football. Pro football has always been big on the East Coast. But I'd have to say bats on hockey, very big on the East Coast.
How the fuck do you edit?
So you grew up playing hockey. When did you decide you wanted to become a cop?
Created the site.
The funny thing is, growing up my entire life, I always wanted to be a fireman.
What's this? Read it.
And I was just on a request. A friend of mine who was taking the police test. He was like, "Come with me," and I did. I never really had any desire to do it as a young man, as a kid, especially as a teenager, running away from the police.
It's just on a whim.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my gosh! When did you join the force?
How old are you? And how long were you a police officer in New York?
I was a police officer 15 years.
Yeah.
I retired as a robbery detective in South Jamaica, Queens, New York.
And
what kind of?
Go ahead, Darren.
What kind of a neighborhood was that you started? When did you start? What year?
I started in 1993. I started the police academy in 93, and I graduated in February of 1994. And then I went to Brooklyn for 6 months, and then I went to South Jamaica.
What kind of a neighborhood is that?
Come on, Jamaica.
Well, it's American Jamaica. There were Jamaican people there. It is about a 99% African American neighborhood, situated right near JFK Airport, in the southeastern part of Queens, New York.
Wow. What kind of housing was there?
It ranged from single houses to projects, to apartment buildings, to shanties, you name it. It was, an older neighborhood of New York City, but at the time when I went there, it was right in the middle of the crack epidemic of the late 80s and the early 90s. So we would, it was busy.
Were you doing drug enforcement to begin with?
Not in the beginning. In the beginning, everybody starts out as a foot cop, walking the foot posts. And I worked my way into street narcotics, and approximately 1997, so about 4 years. I was on the street for about 3.5 years, and then I worked my way into a plainclothes narcotics unit.
Wow, so you have to put in your time.
Well, yeah. That's pretty short time, though, to be out of uniform. It's about 3 years in the NYPD. I was very lucky. My career was very lucky, meaning that if you're on patrol in any police department where you're answering the radio run, it's a miserable job. But off patrol, and especially units, you have to rock and roll, but it has its moments. It's good. It's good and it's bad. It's hard to explain.
What do you think of the fight against drugs, the drug war? I mean, from your perspective now, looking back.
You want to know my perspective on the drug war? It was a game. It was a cat and mouse game. I mean, one thing I learned about being in narcotics is it's all about making money. I mean, meaning our overtime. So you're basically out there trying to get as many arrests as possible, and it's all about making money and making your bosses money, and you become a slave to the overtime. You really do, because you get so into this type of job that when you're out there looking for drugs, you're pretty much like a drug addict. You're just out there every day looking for drugs.
That's an interesting way to look at it. And if you find them at the end of your shift, you got to work a little overtime, huh?
Everything was about overtime with this job.
Weird.
The NYPD at the time was one of the lowest paid in the nation, and I have to admit it, we were overtime junkies. I mean, with days where I would go to work Monday night and come home Wednesday morning, and doing search warrants and what we call, we just keep it rapping, rolling. And I look back at it now. Actually, a good friend of mine I worked with actually ended up having a seizure and dying from overworked. He went home and dropped dead.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, that's terrible.
Yeah, I don't know how to do this.
So it's just there was a famous commissioner in New York City. He was a transit commissioner. His name was Jack Maple, and he set it up. He wrote a book. You can read his book. He said there were all-star perpetrators and all-star cops, and you see each other in court all the time. Meaning that the same players on the street, I got to know them pretty well, and I would see them in court, and they were all-star cops. They would always be in court. One of the most flattering things I had in my career was I remember a defense attorney in the hallway of the courthouse in Queens telling his client to take the plea because he knew my team and he knew we were good at testifying. So I, overheard his conversation to his client saying, I think you should take the plea because I've been up against this crew before and they're pretty good.
So you have a crew?
Well, that's what we call it. Yeah, when you're in a team, it's sergeant and probably cops. So you work with the same group of people all the time. And you're pretty tight. It's a small group. It's like a small family of people. I mean, it's very tight.
Yeah, and you're cheering each other on, and you're there for each other when you're in court and out on the street. Yeah,
well, basically it's
I can't even change.
Narcotic units are broken down to like little teams, and sometimes you bounce around from other teams and stuff, but for the most part, you stick with your team.
I really don't know how to do it.
And you work with each other. I work with these people for 4 or 5 years straight.
Did you ever feel sorry for the guys that are hooked on those drugs, and you think that jail is the right thing to do, or should they have some kind of rehabilitation or something?
You know what it was at the time? I feel differently now. At the time, I was young, and I was just, I was out there rocking and rolling, and we were just grabbing. Like I have voted twice to legalize marijuana here in Oregon, because I do believe it's a stupid thing to arrest someone for. But I'd have to say that I can't lie to you and tell you that we didn't go out there grabbing marijuana arrests, because we did. Once again, I became you're in a unit, you're rocking and rolling, you're going and going and going. That's how you have to do it. You have to make your arrests.
Wow. How long did you work the drug?
I was in the drug unit 5 years of my career. 5 very long years. I mean,
were you looking to get out?
Yeah. I really enjoyed working there. I enjoyed working the unit. After a while, it'll burn you out, though. I mean, like I said, like you'd go to work on a Monday, and you'd arrest a couple of crackheads, and they would give information about a crack house or somebody distributing something out of a building, and you would take that person to a courtroom, and you would get a search warrant, and from one arrest would turn into like 3 days of nonstop work.
Yeah, because you get one, and then you get a whole bunch more. What's the biggest drug bust you had during your 5 years there?
I had one where I vouched close to about $135,000 in cash in this one search warrant. Actually, the officer I told you about that went home and had the seizure and passed away, it was his search warrant. So one of my last acts in narcotics was I executed the warrant, his warrant. And we did pretty good that night. We ended up getting a few guns in a house. We ended up getting about $130,000 in cash and a whole bunch of crack cocaine.
What's this?
Wow.
You didn't get close to any of the criminals, so that like you?
Oh no! Listen, I definitely did. I mean, I remember.
You got friends with them?
Yeah. Actually, I've been to a couple of their funerals while I was working. You know what? Like I said, like when I cited Jack Maple, when you became like you had your crews out there and you had your cops out there, and it's not like today. I don't know what it's like today, but there was a mutual respect for one another.
Okay, I'm just gonna.
Like we would go after the G Unit,
I really don't know.
like 50 Cent's crew back when he was back then, and you know. It's not like the way it is today. There was like this mutual respect for one another. The guys on the street knew me by my nickname, Mac. They just knew us. And, you know, when nothing was going down, I would roll up on a corner and actually have a conversation with these guys. I mean, it was the cat and mouse game, you know. They're doing their thing, we were out there doing our thing, and it was like a different world. I'm sure you guys remember the 1990s. It was a lot different than it is today.
No camera phones.
No camera phones. But there was like a mutual respect, too. I mean, it was, don't get me wrong, the neighborhood was tough. The homicides were more than they are now. And, you know, it was in the midst of the crack epidemic, and there were a lot of shootings, a lot of violence. But there was this somewhat of respect for one another.
So do you like to hang out with these guys and party with the crackheads now? I'm just kidding.
Are they what? Oh, no. See, like, I'm talking about the dealers. I'm not talking about the users. The users were, these people were like the Walking Dead, to be honest with you. I'm talking about the dealers. We got to know them very well. I mean, and it's to the point where, like, you know, we on a first name basis with them, or a nickname basis.
Did you see many people get out of the addicted state? I mean, or
honestly, Darren, you know, your crackheads would come and go. I mean, they would just come and go.
Huh?
You know.
What made you choose? So when you lost your friend, is that what kind of made you choose to switch out of the narcotics?
No, my time was running up, and I just needed a change. So I went to a gun unit, which is like a unit that goes out there and just looks for guns. Now, this was a whole different type of ball game.
Was it a whole new crew?
People I knew, but some guys I worked with in narcotics have moved on. But this is anti-crime thing is a totally different thing. It's basically you have to be a sweet-talking person to be in this unit.
Oh, tell us what it was like. And how long did you do that?
I did that for about 5 years. This unit basically is your job is to go out there and get guns off the street.
Guns aren't legal in New York, right?
Very, very, very odd. Someone will have a gun permit in the city of New York.
That doesn't work, man.
Basically, you go into neighborhoods where there's a lot of shootings, a lot of gun violence, and you're out there looking for guns. And basically, you're doing a lot of stops. You're interviewing, you're talking to a lot of people, and then you're basically going on their reactions. And I learned a lot. I learned how to be a really good street cop in that unit. Basically, I say it's the toughest job in the NYPD, meaning that you have to articulate everything that you did to get that gun off the street, from your stop, your reason for the stop, and you really have to know the law.
You have to cover all your bases. You have to read people.
Yeah, it's a lot of reading. It's a lot of car stops.
Okay.
It's you know, it's a very dangerous job, but it's also a very rewarding job. Meaning, gun arrests in the NYPD are like the thing everybody wants to make. I mean, we get a gun off the street. We have a board. We hang a picture of the gun on the board, and it's just gun arrests are looked at as like a. I mean, some of the old timers would look at the drug arrest and be like, "Why are you making drug arrests? Who cares?" But a gun arrest has always been looked at something like, okay, you took a loaded Tech 9 off of somebody on the street, or you took a 9mm out of a guy's waist, you know, walking down the street.
Yeah, you might have saved a life there.
Oh, there was a lot on the street in Jamaica. So I mean, we did our part. We definitely did our part. I mean, I remember a lot of incidents where, you know.
Wow.
With the guns come the information. With the guns come a lot of the stuff that can make you work.
What's wrong with you? Are you sick?
Yeah,
help
remember
you out fighting.
You told me a story once where you got them to give you information about another crime.
Yeah, we one time we stopped a gun. Actually, drug dealers gave us information about a car and a description of a car, a description of 2 guys in the car that actually robbed them
This morning,
the night before, and we
Nobody here. I think there's a clue in their room.
remember wrote down the information they gave us. We found the car. We ended up getting a gun out of the car with 2 people in it. And that person gave us information about a homicide, a missing girl from Brooklyn, and a homicide. And we ran with it, and we ended up finding her body. And we closed out a homicide from a former guy who used to chase for drugs. Told us about an incident, which led to a stop, which led to the gun arrest, which led to somebody who was looking at some serious time, who gave us the information, and we rolled with it, and we just kept it rolling. I mean, it's
like dominoes.
It's like a domino effect. It really is. It's like you could just keep rolling and rolling and rolling.
Okay. By the way, guys, I want to say shout out to A-Hole Skeptic from DM Talk. And he's in the chat room on #47Talk. If anyone wants to communicate with us, that's where you can do it. And we have a guest with us as well. My other guest host is Yuck Nasty. How are you doing, buddy?
Hey, buddy, it's me, Wolfman Nasty.
Yeah.
What's going on, guys? How you guys doing tonight?
Good.
You listening to this? You listen to the show?
Yeah, I listen to Wolfman's. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, this show. You have any good questions?
No, I just started listening. I just got done watching the Packer game. Man.
Not the way I wanted it to end.
Oh, it was the way I wanted to, baby.
I hear you, brother. I got respect for the Pack. Lombardi came from the New York Giants. I got respect for the Pack.
You damn right he did, yeah. 4 years there before he came here.
That's right. No, I respect the Pack. I like A.A. Ron Rodgers.
Hey, John, are you using a speaker phone or?
Yeah, I am using a speakerphone.
Oh, you're better off to.
No good.
Probably not.
Take the speaker off and see what that sounds like.
Yeah, just put it to regular phone.
Better now?
Shit, yeah.
How do I sound now?
Better.
Way better.
No problem.
The live stream sounds real good, Wolfman. Everybody sounds good.
Oh, thank you.
Very good.
Tonight, baby boy.
I was working on it.
Your new equipment's doing it.
So we got the Green Bay Packer fans on the line. All right, very good.
I'm actually in Green Bay.
Yeah, no, it was a good. That was the Green Bay. Their offensive line is incredible, man.
Yeah, they were killing it tonight. So you're a Giants fan, I take it?
I am, by birth a Giants fan. Yes.
I mean, how bad is their defensive line?
They spent $200 million on their defense.
Yep.
I don't know. Tonight they weren't there, so.
That Jenkins, he had some good fucking picks tonight, though.
He did. They I don't know. I can't complain. I'm old enough to see the Giants win 4 Super Bowls. So I'm good.
Right.
So. Nah, the Pack looks good. The Pack looks good.
Just a fucking idiot.
It's got to beat Minnesota, man. That's all.
I know. Minnesota is fucking killing everybody right now, aren't they?
They are. And we're picking up Bradford, too. We thought they were done when Pendergrass went out, man. I'm like,
yeah, I was hoping they were done when that fucking shit happened.
Yeah. I don't know, man. The Pack looks good. I tell you, though, what really getting me is the AFC, man. You got the Raiders, man. I don't know where they came from, but
I know. Right?
They're coming back now.
Carr is fucking good, man.
Yeah, I know. He's much better than his brother that was a Giant, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
What is it with the Chargers, man? They crap every game away.
I don't know, man. I got no love for the Chargers, man.
They've been doing that fucking like 10 years now, man.
Yeah. I don't like Phil Rivers. No love for them.
He's a little bit too cocky, you know.
Yeah, I know.
All right, we promised we wouldn't talk about football.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Darren. It's Sunday. Listen, I don't go to church. I get up in the morning and watch football.
You go to church every week. There's not a game on.
Exactly. Well, church for me is Sunday, Monday, and Thursday.
Yeah.
And if someone dies or someone gets married. Don't get married on a Sunday, Monday, or a Thursday.
Should we get in store? Or should we talk something else?
Yeah, hey, Darren, you should be happy. Washington kicked the crap out of the Ducks.
I was there. 70-21.
Yeah. Good, I'm glad. Love for the Ducks. They're more concerned about their uniforms than they are about playing freaking football.
They came out to do another 2-point conversion, and the crowd started booing. And then they thought,
Listen,
I've never seen anything like it.
There's one thing I cannot stand about the Duck fans is they're more concerned about what their team is wearing than playing. Listen, Alabama has 2 uniforms, home and away. Oh, look at us today. We got the Oregon State flag. Who cares?
Yeah, and we even get texts when they change their uniform. They look like the Cal Bears this weekend.
It's ridiculous, dude.
So coming up,
I kept saying that. Go Bears!
I don't know. They came out wearing like the Oregon State flag.
John.
Yes.
So we're going to do is I'm going to play a tune. We'll have a little break. And then after that, can we talk some 911?
Sure.
Yeah, because I believe you witnessed the whole damn thing.
Part of it. So,
yeah.
Actually, yeah, you guys probably seen more on TV than I saw. So.
Yeah, but you were on the street, man. You were there.
Yeah. Yes, I was.
Yeah. What we want to hear about. So,
okay.
Right. This sounds awesome. Hey, guys, what do you think?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna try and find something cool. How would I play a song from this jam session? What the hell? Let's play this.
We're good. We're gonna close your D's right now. Okay. You ready?
Are you making it?
Well, I think I'm building a fucking monster because that fucking thing's gonna be about a foot taller than what it is now. You should see where the spring is. The axle's like 2 inches off the fucking floor, and that's where it's gonna be, and then it's gotta get jacked up to the fucking tires. Wow. It's gonna be fucking huge, man. Wow. Hi, little guys.
baby. All right. We are back. Oh.
What the heck was that?
Yeah, that was from live jam session last night.
Okay, I got it.
That was just me and Scotty. That was totally raw.
We can't play like copyrighted music, John. So,
Okay.
So we played Lauren's band and Wolfman's band.
10-4.
It's funny. So, John, how long were you in the gun enforcement?
I was in that for about 5 years.
And what year did you leave that? And what were you doing when 9/11 happened?
I was in that unit when that happened.
And you were working that morning?
I was on my way to work. Okay. Basically, my wife was with my first son. And I remember waking up in the morning. And I got in my car. And I was driving to work. I was listening to like study tapes. I was studying for the sergeant's exam. So I didn't have on my regular radio. And this is back when we had cassette players in the car, guys. So, well, I just 1990 something car. But
what do you mean? I still got one.
Work. What's that?
I still got a cassette player in the car.
I do too.
Excellent. All right. So I was listening to like basically like a study book on tape. Now, boring shit, guys. I don't want to bore you with it. It's just like police procedures and shit. And you listen to this guy, and he talks about it, and it's boring as hell. So here I am driving to work. I'm on what they call a parkway. Darren, this is an East Coast thing. Basically, it's like a highway just for cars. There's no trucks on it.
Do you have to pay?
No. You don't have to pay. But I was on the parkway, and I was on my way to work. And at the time, I lived maybe 25 miles from New York City border, the Queens border. And I could see there was a lot of smoke in the distance going toward the city. So I'm thinking there's a big fire down the road somewhere. And as I was driving closer to the city, I noticed traffic started to build up a lot, you know. So I was like, all right, and I'm sitting in traffic, and I'm seeing county police cars from Nassau County and Suffolk County racing on the shoulder of the highway. I'm like, something must be going on, because why would, the county be racing into the, New York City Queens border? So I popped my radio on and listened to this radio station called 1010 Winds, which is like a New York City radio station. And they were saying that the World Trade Center was hit by a plane. So I'm like, oh, the big ass to work, because it's going to be a long friggin' day. Not thinking anything major. I'm thinking, okay, some commuter, small, from Teterboro, must have lost control and smashed into the towers. So I got to my precinct, I met my sergeant, and now it's on TV, and basically it's what they call like in the NYPD it's called hats and bats. Basically, go down to your locker, put your uniform on, get your helmet, get your nightstick, it's called a bat, and get ready to go somewhere. So we were like, okay, we running to get something done. Basically, then we were getting information that the Pentagon was hit, and we also got some from crazy information coming in, to us.
Like what?
That the White House was hit. Later on, we were told that Israel was nuked. So basically, what we did is we all got into vans and a city bus, and we started headed toward it.
Thinking it was the end.
Basically,
possible World War III.
Yeah, basically. I mean, we really didn't have no idea what was going on. It took us a good, I'd say about 40 minutes to get everything sutured. We loaded up this bus like we were going to war, crowbars and stuff. And I remember going into JFK Airport and one of the terminal, like one of the bays there, and they were just loading us up with bottles of water and food and just throwing it all onto a city bus. When we made it into Manhattan, we got to like maybe Broadway near City Hall, and that's when we had to stop.
So is a whole bus full of policemen, or were there regular people?
No, bus